Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Amit, and in today's video I want to talk about why the crown growth takes so damn long. As someone who has had 2 hair transplants in the past and who has gone through that entire journey, both the first and second time, and documented every single month on this channel, I wanted to dive deep into why the hair grows so slow. And hopefully it helps somebody out there as well if they've just gotten their hair transplant. I'll also go through ways that you can improve that growth on your scalp to hopefully get a faster result. And of course, we'll talk about my crown. It's been a long journey, but I'll give you guys a small update and of course how it's looking. But be sure to stick around towards the end of the video for that. Now, before we start, if you're enjoying videos like this, definitely consider liking it and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. So let's start with the biggest reason why your hair grows so slow on your crown. It's mainly because of blood supply. The crown of your scalp has less vascularity, meaning it gets less blood flow compared to the hairline or the mid-scalp. Hair grafts rely heavily on blood flow to survive and thrive. Blood brings oxygen, nutrients, and growth factors to the transplanted follicles. So the better the blood supply, the faster those grafts wake up and start growing. That's why you'll often see faster results in the frontal hairline or mid-scalp. They're simply better connected to the body's blood circulation. Next, let's talk about the pattern that goes on the crown. Unlike the straight or slightly angled hairs at the front, the crown grows in a spiral. This natural swirl makes it way more complicated for surgeons to implant hairs at the correct angle. If the angle isn't just right, those hairs are going to look really unnatural, or they might not grow in properly at all. Even when done correctly, the spiral pattern causes growth to appear slower. Now, if you compare that with the hairline or the mid-scalp, where the hairs are placed in a more linear, natural forward direction, it's easier to design, easier to implant, and easier to see better results earlier. Another big factor is the type of hair loss itself. The crown tends to suffer from diffuse thinning, meaning the hair loss isn't always a solid patch. Instead, there's a gradual decrease in density that spreads out over time. In contrast, the hairline and mid-scalp often have more defined areas of hair loss. This makes it easier to create immediate visual impact after a transplant because you're filling in the bald areas with concentrated grafts. With diffuse thinning in the crown, even after a hair transplant, you might need a little more time and multiple layers of growth before it looks full again. But let's not forget about the natural hair growth cycle. After a hair transplant, the grafts that have just been placed go into a resting phase. They shed first, they rest for a few months, and then after that, they only begin to grow. This is called the telogen phase, followed by the anagen phase, which is basically the growth phase. Now for the crown, this cycle often kicks in much later compared to the hairline or the mid-scalp. So while you may see those little hairs grow out by the 3rd to 5th month on your hairline and mid-scalp, you might not see any for your crown. I know it can be frustrating, but you have to trust that process. Many patients don't see any meaningful growth at least up until the 8th or 9th month, and then they have to follow it all the way through to the 18th month. So it's a waiting game, but if you have the patience, you'll definitely see that growth come out eventually. Now, even if the hairs do start to grow, it still needs time to get dense. The crown needs more layering compared to the hairline or mid-scalp, especially if you don't have any hair in that area to begin with. It's not just about the hair growing, but it's about growing in the right direction and how it's layered over each other, and then it gives you that full dense look that you're looking for. In the hairline or mid-scalp, you'll tend to see that dramatic change within 8 or 9 months, and that whole area will be covered because the layering of your hair can be pushed to one side, or if you're doing a side parting, you'll still get that dense look that you're after. But compared to the crown, because it's a swirl motion at the back, you might not have it because of how it's layered. Some people are not lucky enough to get that full dense look at the back after a hair transplant, which is completely normal too, to be honest. It just depends on how many grafts that are added in that area and how much coverage you actually get, and of course the placements of the graft. Now, if you're wondering, there are ways to speed up growth on your scalp, especially on the crown area, because a lot of people don't want to wait 18 months, but there are other ways that you can implement a faster growth cycle on your head. Since the crown mostly has lower blood circulation, there are science-backed ways to help increase that over time. Massaging your scalp is an excellent way to help increase blood flow on the areas that you want to see some sort of hair growth on. You can do up to 5 to 10 minutes a day using either your fingers or even a scalp massager and rotating it in a circular motion in the areas that you want to see growth in. You can pair this up with natural oils such as rosemary oil as well to help with blood circulation. Low-level laser therapy is also another way you can help increase some blood circulation on your scalp. Laser caps can help boost circulation on the scalp, and there are many people who have done it before and have reported stronger, thicker hair over time. Microneedling is another good way to help stimulate growth. You can use tiny needles from around 0.75 to 1.5 mm on your scalp. They create micro injuries that stimulate growth factors and increase blood flow. But definitely wait at least 3 months post a hair transplant to use any of these once your scalp is fully healed. Exercising is another great way to help increase blood flow on your scalp. Different types of cardio exercises also help a lot with blood flow. Things like jogging, walking, or even cycling can improve your overall circulation, which in turn benefits the scalp. Finally, avoid wearing tight hats or caps. Especially for the first 6 months, try to avoid wearing anything tight on your head. It can prevent blood from circulating properly in your scalp, hence reducing the amount of growth of the grafts on your head. Now, these methods aren't a miracle cure, but they do create a better environment for the transplanted hairs to thrive. As I mentioned before, the crown growth does take a while. Even for me, I've documented my entire journey from the beginning to the end of the 18 months that I did my crown. Not gonna lie, it wasn't a perfect result for me, but it covered as much as it could, and the density that was there was enough for me. Of course, a lot of people want the full thick density, but what I realized that if you've already had hair there from before, it's a bit easier to get that dense look that you want. For me personally, I had absolutely nothing. It was a shiny bald area and all my follicles were pretty much dead. So because of this, I realized that I don't think I'm going to get the perfect result that I'm after. However, my hair still grew out. It still covered most of that area, and I think at the end of the day, what makes me most happiest is that I'm able to walk out of my house without a care in the world or worry in the world. And I think that's really what this hair transplant has done for me. So despite it taking 18 months, it still looks fine for me, and hopefully it grows more in the future by me applying more blood circulation to my scalp, and I will continue to monitor that. And if it does, you guys will be the first people to know. Now, if you guys also want to have a conversation with me and have a one-on-one, I'm happy to have that with you. I have a one-on-one hair transplant consultation service that you can book with me below. Definitely check it out. I've spoken to so many people about their hair, about their crowns as well, and I've given some great advice to people. I even give you a full list of products that I currently use, also ones that I recommend for anyone who has gone through a hair transplant or someone who's just experiencing any type of hair loss. Do consider booking some time with me. I'm happy to have a conversation with you, and I'll try to help you out wherever I can. If you are enjoying content like this, definitely consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you want to watch how I grew back my hair, you can check out one of these boxes here or there. I forgot which way it was, but check it out. Check out my journey, and hopefully it resonates with you as well. All right, thank you so much. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.